Next up is a tool to help you become king or queen of your own castle.
Hello, Sharks. My name is Kevin Lane.
And I'm Lori Lane from New Milford, Connecticut.
We are seeking $350,000 for 10% equity in our company, Create a Castle.
Whatever you're doing right now, I need you to stop what you're doing and start giving some super class for two super castle building entrepreneurs that were just on Shark Tank. Give it up for Super Kevin and Super Lori Lane. Woo! Welcome. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, Joe?
Good.
I'm tired and I got a little bit of a headache, but we're going to go through, knock this out here. I'm happy to be here, though, for real. It took a little while to get this scheduled for us.
Yep, that's all right. We're here now, right?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah. So let's jump right in. What was your relationship to with Shark Tank prior to finding out that you were going to go, apply or be selected to be on Shark Tank?
I mean, we always watched the show. We used to watch it with our kids all the time. Just to kind of see what entrepreneurs were out there. We owned our own website business, so we'd always kind of been in the entrepreneur field. And so we always watched it with our kids. And then when we decided to apply, then we watched it even more. And then the minute we found out we were going to be on, well, then we binge watched. We watched a lot of episodes. I don't think there's one we haven't seen.
Oh, wow. That's I think did you find that through the experience that binging it helped or hampered your experience? Because I've heard both ways, like overthinking it or feeling overly confident in feeling like overconfident because you've seen all these, you have all this history to watch, but not necessarily you don't know what the Sharks are up to, especially because when you're applying, the previous season's going on, you don't know what deals are happening, outside of the show and things of that kind of, nature.
I think a little bit of both. It definitely helped us to prepare, just to make sure, okay, this is what they asked. This is what we need to know. But then at some points he would still be watching it. And I was like, I can't listen anymore. I was like, I can't, I'm starting to become a nervous wreck.
I got to be honest. I even got to that point too.
Yeah, you just start to get stressed about it.
You're overthinking everything. You're worried about what they're going to ask, what they're not going to ask, and it's like there's no way to fortune tell that. You just go in and you kind of let it organically happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think from I could see that. I know at least one super entrepreneur that was on Shark Tank. They're like, after I've been on the show, I cannot watch the show. I need an extended break.
Either. That's me.
Really?
I can't watch it anymore. I don't know. Wow. It just gives me anxiety. I'm like, either I get anxious watching it, or I get mad. And I'm like, wait a minute. They asked me that, or why didn't they? So I'm good not watching it for a little while.
Yeah, so having that break might create the space that you need, especially if you were getting burnt out watching. And I can totally see that. I mean, we have a lot of people here that binge watch this channel, and they say oh, Joe, I love watching this even more so than watching the show. And I kind of wonder if some of that is because of the breaks where I'm pausing the video and breaking stuff down, that if that kind of breaks up some of the anxiety, because of the music that they use is very anxiety driven for the most part. I could see where that would get in in your subconsciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny because, when you go there, you don't realize all the things that happen post editing. And I was waiting for the music to start as they open the doors, and I'm like, there's no music, and you can hear the doors creaking open. I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm walking into my coffin.
Well, there's something like The Price is Right as well, right? Where it's like none of the games are automated. They're just people standing behind them who aren't working. It's not magic or technology. It's people.
Yeah.
It's like Soylent Green. So all right. So you applied to be on Shark Tank. Tell me how, tell us how you worked out your valuation that you were going to ask for the Sharks.
Well, we pretty much we have a general manager. So we kind of went, we had had a high level of our numbers. And that year, I'm like losing track of years, but 2022 is the year we went from, like 600,000 to 3 million. So we knew we had to change our way of accounting. And, so we had a lot of growing pains that year anyways, in terms of scaling and tracking our numbers and everything. So it was actually a great exercise for us to do anyways, as difficult as it was to get all of our numbers and figure out our valuation and all that. We had to do it anyways, or we would have just like totally just snowballed into, not being able to catch up. So we worked with our general manager and, figured out where we were for sales and what we had projected and so forth. And that's kind of how we came up with it.
And I think Shark Tank kind of forced us into a good place where we had to learn our business better by answering all these questions that they ask in the process. And it set us up in a better position on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that a lot. I mean, because it's easy to ignore certain aspects of your business when it's like it's not your favorite thing to do. So it's like, we'll get around to it or whatever. Or we just, kind of. I mean, we're still making sales, we're still doing the thing. So it's like we just kind of ignore and make a mess behind us, and then we don't actually ever get to tidy up or maybe understand some of those extra metrics that we, could really help the business if you took the time to stop, figure out what they are, figure out what the metrics are, figure out what the actual numbers to those metrics are, and then apply them to the business. And I think that, having that experience to go to Shark Tank really gives you that platform and that maybe permission to like slow down, even though you're still moving at a fast pace, but to slow down and actually go and do those things that you'd be like, yeah, I'll get around to it when we get around to it, if there's a reason to it. Like if it was really that important, like it would have bit us in the butt at this point, right? It would have been a thing that we had to do in order to move forward, because we would have hit that wall already. And that's really nice to hear that Shark Tank enabled you to have that moment to be able to, go through those numbers.
Yeah, it's like to get your ducks in a row. It's like kind of like you said, you're so far in the front of it, like trying to keep up with everything, especially when you're propelled. So it's like, it really, to take the step backwards and figure out those numbers, it was the best thing for us anyways.
It was a lot of work because, mind you, we do all fulfillment on our own. We do not use a 3PL. We do everything on our own. Including the Target order that we just got. I mean, we literally packed and loaded all the pallets, shrink wrapped it, we forklift, we do everything on our own. It's her and I, and then we'll hire out as needed.
I love that. Ding ding for getting your hands dirty and making it happen, right? I always say we gotta swing the bat when we have to, when the chips are down. So having that said, how did you squeeze with all that business, that you're doing and driving? How did you squeeze in the pitch build and balancing act of all the stuff you had to do to be on Shark Tank, plus figuring out your pitch, working on your pitch, and getting it down so that you know what you're going to be saying?
You see all this gray hair and lack of hair?
I had hair. I had hair. Can you believe it?
I had hair last year.
Yeah, honestly, it was brutal. I mean, it was a lot of work.
You just had to make it work. It was so exciting. It was kind of like one of those that you're like, oh my God, I can't figure out one more thing. But you're like, but we might be on Shark Tank. So it's like, it kind of gives you that extra boost, but it's, it was exhausting. But we, like I said, our general manager, was a godsend, helping us do all of our numbers, and just everybody pitching in to help us, from family and friends to neighbors, just to help us with the day-to-day stuff while we worked on, pitches. And our pitch was actually our godchild, who's on our box and everything. All of our models and all of our product is all of our friends' kids. So she did like our original pitch video with us and stuff. So she was a trooper, because we must have done it 50 times. And she was like, oh my God, because she's like, she was 8 at the time. She was like, oh my God, can you please get it right, guys? Like, she was fine. We were the ones messing it up.
They say it takes a community to raise a child. I really I really love that, it takes a team to make a business go, right? And I think that's something a lot of people that don't really understand business get. Like, it's not one person, it's like Steve Jobs didn't make everything, like invent everything and put it in the box, like, and manufacture it and put it in the box past a very early certain point in the business, right? So that's just one example, but it's really, you need people like that get the numbers better than you do because you understand the product. I always say, like, when I get hired as a consultant and stuff, it's like, a baker is not going to hire me to make better bread. I'm not a baker, right? But like when it comes to numbers, process, and technology, and integrating all that together, with a team, that's what I do, right? So I'm not going to tell a person how to be a better baker, but I can help them do that stuff, the other stuff that they maybe not be the best at or need help because they have grown to a certain point as well that they just can't do it. Where like you have a general manager, which really helped in that case where, if you didn't, it doesn't sound like you would have had to get somebody else outside help, or you would have been struggling with that end of it. On top of all the other things you're doing, because it's not just in a vacuum. Like, okay, we're gonna sit down and do the books. Like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, it's not that simple. And I think that's it's really an important lesson that it takes a team of people to be able to accomplish that. And I love that you have your goddaughter on the packaging and all that. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's it's a true family business, and it's an American dream we're living. I mean, the fact that we were just on Shark Tank and had all that exposure, made it through I don't even know how we made it through the holidays. It was just unbelievable. Just flooded in. It was like nothing we've never seen.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you guys were definitely busy because we were talking, through messaging, through email and stuff, and they're like, okay, can we do this week? Can we do that week? And it's difficult to get lined up. But so you had won an award, like, before getting to go on Shark Tank. Can you go into the story of that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Do you have the award?
Yeah,
I have. So 2019, we won Outdoor Toy of the Year. The Toady.
Hard to see.
Can you take it out?
I could take it out, but I don't want to drop it here because you'll never get another one. But this is the 2020 Toy of the Year. It's a huge accomplishment for us.
Every time you ding, that's when the dogs bark.
Oh no! Oh,
Trigger.
I'm sorry.
Trigger point.
I was like, what? It just dawned on me. But anyway, so 2019, we won Outdoor Toy of the Year at Toy Fair, which was a great accomplishment. We were definitely like the David and Goliath. We were up against Razor Scooter, Zuru, like all these big toy companies.
Huge manufacturers.
For Outdoor Toy of the Year. So we went to the dinner and we were sitting there and we were like, all right, this is awesome. Just to be nominated, just to be make it to the finalist, to be a finalist. And when they said our name, it was just crazy. It was like, oh my God. So that was they call it like the Oscars of the toy industry. So it was very, very exciting. And that set us on a huge trajectory forward. I mean, it was crazy because 2 weeks later, the world shut down with the pandemic. So that we had that under our belt, which was great. But it was but it goes back to what you said, too. Sometimes you need that time to get things in order. If we had come back from Toy Fair and nothing ever shut down, I don't know that we ever would have been able to catch up and kind of do what we needed to do with fix our packaging and kind of do all that if the world hadn't shut down. So we still moved forward, thankfully, because we had an outdoor product, but we were able to take a step back because of the shutdown. And we needed, because we weren't in a box, not, so many things we needed to do. We were brand new. So
we won the Toy of the Year across the whole world out of a box just based on the technology that we invented.
Yeah,
stop and think about it. It's
in
incredible.
A mesh backpack.
It's absolutely incredible. But it goes to show, too, like when Lori said about the pandemic, these are things you do not see coming as a small business owner, right? We never expected to hit that speed bump, but we did. We dealt with it. We got really scared when they started shutting beaches down. That was a very, very scary time because that's our bread and butter. But that was so short-lived because people were like, it's my birthright. You're not shutting a beach down on me. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean that. Oh man, so I can only imagine that there's other companies that you were just referring to being like, who are they talking? Who won? What company? What brand are they with? I don't. That is absolute. I don't want to ding the bell. I'll do the jazz hands.
You're barking.
You know, that is phenomenal. And look, I truly believe everything happens for a reason. The timing of things absolutely matters. And to be able to take that home and not necessarily have everything put on hold if it was like, say, a month later or something, you know, if the event was like a month later, and they'd be like, well, we're not sure if when we're going to do it, or so much uncertainty in the world.
Yeah.
And then, to have beaches closed, that I mean, in hindsight, it was like kind of silly, but
Yeah.
Understand, at least initially, I get it. I mean, well, I'm from Jersey, all right? So we had our guy, Chris Christie, sitting on a beach. We will always have Chris Christie sitting on the beach.
I remember that.
Yes. Yeah. So, so when it came to Shark Tank, like, you guys didn't get to show that award on in the tank.
No.
Was there a reason why that you couldn't? Because I mean, that's a huge. I mean, just being able to say that, like, hey, we went up against all these giants, and like, they were probably like, who won? Who are these people? Like, why have I never heard of this?
Well, we tried to do it, but then it had to go through such a process between the Toy Association and the legal team at Shark Tank that it was like going back and forth, not for any bad reason. It just didn't get there was no yes before we went out there, and we didn't want to travel with it. So, because it's like one of a kind thing. So we did
get
it.
it back.
And then they were like, oh, you can use the award. We're like, we're already in California.
We're not sure.
So
We weren't
it was
about to
kind
ship
of a
it.
bummer. And this is like jumping forward a little bit, but like, we hadn't said anything about the award in the whole pitch
Until
towards the very end. So, but we'll talk about that after, when we talk about the pitch, because it's a funny story with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and so you guys were telling me before we got on about how you guys ended up being stuck in California, but I think we'll save that to after we get to the through the pitch and the experience. So stay tuned for that as a little teaser. So walking down, you've gone through your pitch, your numbers, are you feeling confident? How are you feeling about your walk down the hallway there?
We're feeling pretty good. I mean, nervous.
Nervous when I didn't hear the music, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, there's no music.
But we were, at that point, we were like, it is what it is at this point. Like, it's now or never. And
It is
very well, like this.
Yeah.
It was, it's very intense when you walk in, and like that minute where they pan the cameras and they tell you nobody says anything, that's like, you're like sweating bullets. But everybody's smile, everybody was very warm and welcoming. So it, wasn't as intimidating as I thought it would be.
Tensions. And funny story is, so they do a countdown before you start your pitch, and our name are, Kevin and Lori. And they said, all right, Kevin and Lori in 5. And there was so much confusion. So if you see our photo that they took of us, that's us
why
laughing.
we're laughing, because
so hard.
Yeah,
because
Kevin and Lori. Lori's like, are they talking to us? Oh, you guys, Kevin and Lori? And Kevin's like, I thought I was in trouble. Kevin O'Leary was like, I thought they were yelling at me. And Lori's like, well, I'm surprised they weren't yelling at you, because you're always Kevin and Lori. Like, so it was actually, it really broke the ice, which was funny.
It worked out well.
Hey, look, everything happens for a reason, right? And and I think it just goes to show that they really have no idea what's coming down the pipe.
They don't.
Like, because if that was the case, they wouldn't even bat an eye. They'd be like, oh, yep, there's Kevin and Lori standing up there, and we know what we're doing because we've been doing this for like, well, Lori's only been there since season 3, but like 14 seasons, long enough. So what would be really funny if Kevin Hart was on your episode and it was Kevin, and Lori.
Oh my God. Which Kevin?
Yeah, exactly. So coming in at 350,000 for 10%, how did what what was your strategy there, like to get a deal like coming in at 350 for 10%?
What do you mean? Like just
So was that part of your, was coming in at 350 for 10% part of your strategy to get a deal, like to entice a shark, or
we actually lowered it a little bit.
Yeah, we were going to ask a little bit higher, and some of the producers had just said, with the economy, they kind of, because the production team is so great, and they were just like, we're sensing the threshold is a little lower than normal with the state of the economy and all the stock markets and stuff. So they're like, we can't tell anybody what to do or what to ask for, but if anybody has any wiggle room to go down, we advise you do. So, but they don't tell you to. You know what I mean? It's really just
it's your decision.
Your business.
We could have stayed what we wanted to.
So we just lowered it just a little bit, just to kind of help us secure a deal.
Were you at 400 for 10%?
Yeah. I was like 400 to 425. So it wasn't that much higher, but they were saying that 400 seemed to be usually like 500 is where their like balking point was, but it had kind of dropped to 400, and that seemed to be where their like shackles were going up. So
yeah, we see that in a lot of pitches. Like basically, once you get above 300,000, the odds, especially, I mean, unless you're talking about like 30 or 40%, like, but even then, it's still the odds of getting a deal just start to drop off like more and more as you go up the scale to 500,000. And I mean, unless you have two sharks that are really interested in a deal and splitting the amount of money, it's it gets really tricky. But which is, it's kind of a, it's funny because like a lot of people are like there's only one billionaire on the panel, right? And even if you're a billionaire, $500,000, $300, $400,000, it's still a lot of money to pour into one business, right? To make one bet that it's going to work. So, and I think a lot of people kind of sort of discount that it's like, oh, they got billions of dollars, it's not a big deal. It's like, yeah, but they also see all these pitches every year, plus all the other investments that they make outside of the show. Like, it's not in a vacuum, and it's not the only deal they'll ever make in a year. If that was the case, they probably wouldn't mind doing 500,000, if it was a surefire bet. But yeah, so you come in. When did you found out that Kendra was going to be on the show? Probably like a week or so, 2 weeks before.
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
Was that exciting for you to find out, or like?
Yeah.
We were actually excited to have guest sharks because it's fresh blood, right? It's somebody new that brings new elements into the show, and
and our daughter loves her jewelry, so we were like, oh, she's and she like, so of course then we researched her even more and stuff, and it was just very exciting to have her on there.
Oh, it would be. The other thing is, I feel like it would increase your odds of getting airtime, aired versus not having a guest shark on there, because like they're only going to shoot so many pitches with those guest sharks. So from my understanding, it's like one extra one per episode that they would be on. So so if that's the case, like you have a pretty good shot again on there versus like the general population of the rest of the pitches. So through the pitch, it seemed like things were going pretty well, I would say. Would you agree? How are you feeling about how things were going as it progressed through?
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely like, I know that this, but it's so hard what they pulled together the 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Like we were in there for 45 minutes, so you never know what they're going to actually show. Yeah, it was actually probably closer
to an hour. I think it was a little over 50 minutes, but the best part you just showed us was when my wife Lori flipped the box on Kevin and said, he was worried about the seasonality.
It was a seasonal product.
Yes. I'm not going to ding. I'll do the hands. That absolutely was a great opportunity to flip it on him.
Yeah, no, that was great.
She's a living legend now. She just doesn't know it. I
love it. And so and the I don't recall, but the business the indoor product that was because of COVID? Is that what prompted that, or were you guys already had that prior?
Yeah, we had kind of already talked about it, but we really definitely pushed it out. Like, knowing that even though we work in the sand and the snow, we wanted to get something that could really be, 12 months out of the year in a store, not just focusing on the winter or the summertime. So
we're hoping as it builds that we're going to fill a lot of the gaps that, the outdoor seasonality, because winter or summer, it doesn't matter. There's still pockets like in October and,
April,
parts of November. It's a slow pocket for us. So we wanted to really fill those gaps with the indoor line that is not seasonal at all.
Now, has that line been as strong as the outdoor line, or stronger? Or
not yet.
It's not yet. It's too new. We literally just rolled it out in the fall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. In the summer, so it's brand new. It hasn't even been. It's been 8 months, 6 months. So it hasn't been that long yet. So not quite as strong as the outdoor, but we're hoping to get it there.
Well, I mean, it takes time, right? Educating people that it exists, and getting people to understand like why they should have that, plus the indoor or the outdoor one. It's just another thing. Plus, for birthdays are, you got to wait a whole year for a whole cycle of birthdays to go through, and things of that nature. So, and then those kids, friends of kids see it and things like that, birthday parties and all. For it to really like get out into that mass appeal. So going through, you guys ended up having two offers, right? One from Damon as well as one from Kendra, and was it Kendra and Lori?
Just Kendra.
It was just Kendra. Oh, for some reason I was thinking it was two people, or two a combination of two.
Funny you say that, because she jokingly said after we said we won Toy of the Year, she's like, "Oh, can I come back in?" But at that point, it was too late.
Yeah, Lori said, "Can I come back in?" After that's what I was going to tell you about Toy of the Year. We hadn't mentioned it, and at the very end, because they're pinging you from every angle with questions, right? So we didn't even say anything about Toy of the Year, and then Kevin mentioned it right at the end, like when those two guys had their offers, and Lori's like, "Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know that. Can I come back in?" And Kendra's like, "No."
So I mean, that's wow. So it's funny because Lori likes to pride herself on knowing heroes from zeros, right? And missing the boat on that until having the award and saying, "Oh, now I feel like I'm missing out on something big." So you guys end up walking out with a deal from Kendra, which was great to see. And have you guys been able to close that deal yet?
We're
so close.
We're very,
on
very
the finish
close.
line. So we're like fingers crossed in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're finalizing the term sheet right now. So it's...
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a long process.
Yeah, it was a little bit slow for a while, like with the holidays and stuff. Their team was busy. We were busy and stuff. And then now it's been like crunch time, and it's like on like literally the last couple little things, and hopefully it will be good.
That is awesome. That is awesome to hear. And her deal was for 20%, right? If I recall correct, for $350,000. So I mean, you guys did counter there for 15%. Yeah. But that didn't fly.
She didn't want it.
And it's funny, she doesn't even know this, but 20 was our high end threshold. That was it.
So we knew we wouldn't go higher than that anyway. So that's why we just said yes, because we knew,
Well, I'm glad that worked out. I mean, that's part of the negotiation process, right? Is knowing where you want to be at the end of the day, and then also making the Sharks feel like they got a deal. And then maybe she'll watch this, and maybe she won't, right?
But we knew too she'd be worth the 20%. Like, she's just such a successful, as she even said it, like the omni-channel. She sells in so many different retail outlets, online, and like there's so many things that we could benefit from her guidance. So it would 100% be worth the 20%.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, having somebody that gets their phone calls answered back, right, and has high visibility is a game changer for sure for any business.
Yeah, yeah.
So you guys ended up being stuck in California after it was after the shoot, right?
No, it
No,
was
we
before.
Oh, it was
got
before the shoot.
yeah, and it was like still during COVID testing time. So we got there on a Sunday. We were supposed to film Sunday night and leave Tuesday. Like, and he was doing the big build in the studio and stuff too. And our associate producer texted and said, "Sorry, there was some big issue. You're not going to film until Thursday." And we were like, "Oh."
This is in our peak season
Yeah,
in the
this
middle
is
of
in
July.
July. And we were like, "Oh no." And they're like, "So you could go home, but to fly back and forth to Connecticut from California was not worth it." So, everybody's like, "Oh, that's awesome. You get to stay in California for a week." No, we had to be COVID tested like 5 times.
Yeah.
So we like literally couldn't leave the hotel room because we were so paranoid about getting, COVID. So
It's true.
he rebuilt our website.
Yeah.
We binge watched Shark Tank.
Once when we,
Yeah.
we
And our kids processed all the orders in Connecticut.
we FaceTimed our daughter and literally taught her step by step how to jump into different portals and just start processing orders.
They'd always do the grunt work with us, but had never done the actual like computer stuff. So, but they did it. They did just fine. Her and her boyfriend did just fine.
That is phenomenal. Look, I mean, that just goes to show you, like, anything can happen, right? We have to be able to and have the patience to be able to enable other people to do the things that we are like, oh yeah, only we could do that. We make that happen, right? That reminds me of a story I just heard this past week when I was in Dallas. A friend of mine was, his employee was telling me about, he wouldn't let me go and do the thing, like check the tanks, the fuel level on the tanks by myself. And I'm like, dude, haven't you been around like for like 30 years in the industry? He's like, yeah, I don't know why you can't just let me go do it. He's like, because you're not gonna do it right. And I'm like, dude, like, man, you need to like not retire, but like let it go a little bit. You're in your 70s, man. Come on. It's not like he's fresh, first day on the job or something. He knows what he's doing. If he doesn't, mistakes happen. We're human. That's the whole point. We're not all robots.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so you guys get done, which is probably a relief, especially after being, I don't want to say stuck in California, but being in California longer than you expected to be. I love that you made it you took it as an opportunity to get other things done, and not just do nothing or unplug. And so you get done. Did you head right back, like basically head to the hotel and then head to the airport and head back, or did you stay longer? Or
No, we left that next morning, right?
Next morning, it was
the next
Friday,
morning.
yeah.
Yep.
We even
Nice.
I don't know if you saw the big poster boards on set. We had those printed out there, and somehow I don't even know how we did it, but we talked the airline into fitting those poster boards into like extra space they had.
Yeah, all the ones in the background there.
Those. That one. There was a third one too with the indoor line, and I literally just brought them in and I begged and pleaded with the airline stewardess. I'm like, can you just put these somewhere? And she put them in an extra storage bin they had. So we have all those poster boards. Normally people will probably just throw them out.
Yeah, because or you can ship them home, but like we didn't have time to go to a FedEx or anything. So
yeah, I'm sure it would have been quite expensive to do so anyway. That's nice. That's nice that they accommodated you on that, especially in the time where like airlines are not so accommodating.
Exactly. Well, it's funny 'cause they saw the chessboard one, and she's like, "You can't throw that out because it's such a beautiful photo." She's like, I won't even let you throw that out." So,
love it. So, what was some of the first things you guys did once you got back from back from the West Coast and started to do with your business to get back into the swing of things?
zipped their lips and didn't say a word, man. It was a hard few months until October.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine waiting all the way till like the spring.
I know, yeah, because you have no idea. Like we could have been waiting till the spring, So it was like nice that it wasn't that long, but yeah, it was. We just dove right back in as if we hadn't gone anywhere, hadn't done anything, didn't tell anybody. So
wow, yeah, that's got to be tough. To not to keep it all bottled up, and again, because you only know like 3 weeks out from when you're going to air. So did you feel like you needed to go and ramp up your inventory leading up to potentially airing?
No, because we had plenty of inventory, and they actually tell you not to do that because they're like, we have no, with the no guarantee you're going to air, because you can go out there, film, get a deal and not air, so
yeah.
They advise you not to really go crazy with inventory. So we were in a pretty good inventory position. So we didn't need to ramp anything up. We did after the fact when we found out our air date, being right before Christmas time. So we did do one more order that we just got in. So
Thank God we did. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not knowing whether you're going to air or not, and then waiting until like the spring, it would be very. It is nerve wracking. I know, because I've talked to other entrepreneurs here that didn't air until like the last episode of the season.
I can't imagine.
It's difficult. Well, I think a couple of them weren't like consumer products. They were like other types of businesses, so it wasn't as much of a big deal for them. But it's still, you just don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you don't know. So, so the other thing, so once you found out you were going to air, did you guys have a big party, or what did you do to celebrate for the watch party?
It was pretty cool. We have an awesome town in Milford, Connecticut. And, so we talked to our mayor, and we have a beautiful downtown green. It's one of the oldest greens, I think.
Biggest greens too.
The biggest greens in New England. And so we did a watch party downtown in our downtown New Milford. So we set up a huge blow up screen that the Bank Street Theater, the movie theater,
right, 25 feet tall,
lent us.
Huge.
And
Wow.
we have a projector and everything. So we live streamed it via Hulu. And we had a few hundred people came down to the green, like all, our friends and family and local people, and everybody came. It was really
fun.
cool.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
It was something really that we'll always remember to the day.
Yeah, it was very cool. Because because you don't see it until it's played, right? So everybody's like, oh, what are we going to see? And we're like, we don't know. So like just watching it with our town at the same time as everybody else, with them was pretty cool. It was very exciting.
That is awesome. Now, when you say a green, do you mean like almost like a town square kind of?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a long strip of grass.
Yep.
There's a historical tank on it with a flag flying over. It's very Americana. It's a beautiful, beautiful downtown.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
I'll
awesome.
have you out for lunch sometime.
Yeah, I've been to Connecticut. Well, I've only driven through Connecticut, and by driven I mean I sat in the parking lot that you call a highway, trying to get through to it to go to New Hampshire at the time.
Drive through Connecticut.
It took a while. I've been to a subway and a gas station on the highway going through Connecticut. That's about. I have a couple friends up in Connecticut. Just haven't gotten up there quite yet. But so that's awesome. So did your website handle all the sales and everything that happened that night? Did it break the website? All right, what happened?
No, so luckily I have background in tech. So I was an information architect, web developer, designer, and all that stuff. So I contacted Shopify, that's the platform that we are on, and said, hey, look, this is coming. Do we need to scale anything up? Do we need to, pull any levers? And they started asking tech questions. I could answer everything, and we just went back and forth, and there was no issues at all.
Yeah, so it was all ready. So lucky to have a nice web developer on hand to make sure the website doesn't crash.
As a fellow web developer, I appreciate that. That is awesome.
You do dev too? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, mostly in the WordPress space, but I mean, I've been building websites, HTML, JavaScript, since like '96 when I was like a 10-year-old boy building websites.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm not like, I mean, I've done a bunch of development and I've done a bunch of design over the years, but I've gotten away from it away from it outside of my own needs, my own, what I need, just because dealing with outside clients is frustrating to say the least.
Why do you think I invented Create a Castle?
Ding, ding, ding.
Judge, but our previous business was web development and design. So
Oh God. Oh, bless you. That's
we still do a little bit of that with some clients that we still have, but for the most part, moved to toys.
Analog.
Move.
I went from digital to analog.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I always say, like, I mean, I've been using computers since, I don't know, I was like 6 years old or whatever in the early 90s. And, I always say, like, I hate computers. And I tell my kids now, I'm like, because they have, like, the computers they use are right behind me here. We play games. I'm like, computers are fickle. They don't always work. And that's my daughter always reminds me every time. They're like, okay, we're going to do this. Oh, no, it's not quite working. All right, hold on. Let me see what I can do to fix it. Because I'm the screen master, as they call me. So, yeah, but dealing with clients can be very frustrating because like they don't know what they want, and then you put something together and they're like, yeah, that's not what I want, and okay, get me some pictures, get me some video, get me some media, give me something. Yeah, we got nothing, or we got these couple of blurry photos that we took on an iPhone from like 6 years ago. Here you go, please,
Totally.
No.
Where was all the AI when we needed it, Joe?
Yeah, but dude, the whole AI. I could go off on that. I could go off about that, but another day.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you were telling me before we started was about you were down. That picture behind you was taken in somewhere Florida.
Destin,
Florida.
Destin, Florida.
And on the way home, because you drove to Destin, Florida, you did something. So please elaborate on that, because I think that's a key story for other super entrepreneurs to hear.
Oh, for Target.
Yeah, so we just landed, I'm going to say loosely, approximately 900 Target stores. Ding, ding.
Yes, ding, ding is right.
So this is the product line that we have in there. This is our indoor line Buildmaster starter kit.
Oh.
And when I was in Destin with my friend, I said, you know what? I haven't even had a chance to stop at a Target. Let's go and see. I didn't know if it was in that Target or not because we're not in all Targets nationally. Went in, lo and behold, it's there. And there was a mom with her daughter as I'm taking a photo, pointing at the box. My friend is taking photos. And I said, you know what? It'd be a really cool thing to do. I'm going to go and buy this and gift it to that family. So I literally went over and asked them, hey, are you cool with this? My wife and I were just on Shark Tank. I'm the inventor of this product. And they were thrilled. And they were so overjoyed. So then I just made a mission to have some fun on the ride home rather than just shooting straight home. Rushing home for nothing really. So I basically had a game plan to find any Target that was 5 minutes or under off of any exit on the way home. And I made it up to about mid South Carolina, and stopped at about 25 Targets. And literally gifted a whole bunch of Buildmaster kits to people.
That is awesome. Ding, ding. And I think from a marketing standpoint, I think that's a great opportunity to get the product into people's hands and to help pump the sales a little bit on the Target end. Doesn't hurt either,
Look, I mean, the buyer was thrilled when she saw what we were doing, because she found out through her GM, because he saw it on Facebook as I was posting. He's like, what are you doing? And I explained it to him on the phone. He's like, this is genius. So then he shared all the photos and stuff that I was bombing Facebook with, and the buyer was happy. All the store managers were happy. The sales rep was happy. So, and the most important thing is the kids who are getting the kit, the families who are getting the kit,
we're so excited.
We're overjoyed because it's like Christmas bonus right after Christmas. It was just a really good feeling.
Yeah, that never hurts to get extra gifts after Christmas
That's
like
right.
that. I was just like scrolling through here to see if I could find it. Oh, there they are. Let me see if I could share. There we go. So the posts that you were making here from these are from Creative Castle. I got to go into the Creative Castle, but there's
Yeah.
one of the posts right there.
Yep.
That is great.
Yep.
That is great. So yeah, I think that's a really important thing for entrepreneurs to like figure out a way to make some magic happen for some people that, and give you an opportunity to market, the product, right, and promote it. Any opportunity to make another post, another opportunity to have a smile, have smiles, right? That's what we're that's why you make toys. I mean, what the heck,
That's
right?
why we're in the toy industry. If we can't make smiles, then we have a big,
You're in the
big
wrong
problem.
business.
And what was really
Yes.
cool, I got all their names and their handles and everything and their permission to post all the photos. So I followed them on Facebook and tagged them. And what happened was it was a miracle. Like family members saw what was showing up on their feed because I friended them. They're like, "Oh my God, we're going to Target to go and buy some of this. This is so awesome." It created this whole buzz that was just, now we're going to continue it. We're going to find local Targets and continue the campaign. Why not? I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely, and congratulations on getting the 900 targets. Now, you had the box and ship those all yourself there.
Yep.
Paladin, wow,
Dallas and-
wow.
Yeah,
it was
we
fun.
palletize the master carton. So
Whew, that is a lot. Um, well, so what's the future of Creative Castle looking like?
You want to answer?
crazy.
So the reason I was down south is we do a lot of trade shows. I was at the Gift Mart in Atlanta, and something happened down there that there's a whole new channel that opened up for us. It's absolutely an incredible opportunity. So we landed John Hopkins Children's Hospital for this very line that's in Target that I just showed you, and also another hospital, I think it was Presbyterian in New York, confronted us, and I gave them a sample. So this is a whole new channel that this is the power of entrepreneurship. Is things come down the alley that you never expect. We didn't expect, and the beauty of that is it's getting into kids' hands that need it in a time of crisis in their life, and it could put a smile on their face. That's our end game, is making kids, making families happy, and make memories together, whether on a tabletop now or on a beach.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, how many units would a children's hospital use?
So they'll put them in the gift shop, and parents.
Yeah, so it'll be minimum.
Oh, in the gift shop. I was thinking that it was for like the kids in like a play area that are there for like long term.
That is a good idea.
They'll probably allocate for some of that, you know what I mean? But I think they're looking at it from a gift shop opportunity.
Yeah.
There, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The power of that is think about how many hospitals are worldwide, children's hospitals, right?
It's just another avenue.
It's a whole new channel for us that is an incredible opportunity, and B, I think should be again, empowering kids in time of need.
Yeah. No, it didn't even occur to me the gift shop opportunity, and that's, I mean, as a parent of two young kids, I like that a lot better than another stuffed animal that we have so many of at our house.
Or another tech gadget, you know what I mean? That's the whole thing.
Yes.
People, I think families are really genuinely burned out on tech. So I think that this is a really good opportunity and time and place for us to bring all of this stuff to market, because there is definitely a tech burnout. I see it when I'm on the beach.
Yeah, no, I would agree. We love our like Kiwi boxes, and there's another box that we get as well that's not tech focused, but like STEM focused and arts and crafts focused. I think like my daughter's supposed to make us gnocchis like in next week or something because of one of the boxes that she's getting. So it's like. Yeah, right. There's plenty of tech. Like they already have plenty of tech. Like clearly, they got computers. They got an iPad. Like they got plenty of tech in their life. The tech I would have killed to have when I was their age. But yeah, I mean here having an opportunity to do hands-on like crafts and things and building and all that I think is really really great. So that's awesome. That's the future is ceilings way up in the clouds for you guys, and things are going well. I appreciate you both coming on today and taking the time. And I'm glad we were able to make it work with our schedules. And tell everyone where they can go to get their own create a castle other than Target.
So start at createacastle.com. All of our social media handles are also Create a Castle. Nice, easy name to remember, and we hope to gain you as a new customer, whoever's watching.
Oh, I did. But speaking of seeing this, I did see you your guys feature on it's not Regis and Kelly.
Kelly and Ryan.
Kelly and Ryan. Yeah. I did see that. That was pretty awesome. The video is kind of cut because this is a 4K screen, so probably that's a lot better. One of the joys and love of web development and trying to squeeze things so that they all fit in the right way on a web page. God, I know all about those things. So you all should absolutely go check them out. Go follow them on the social media. By the way, how did you guys find out about the video?
What do you mean?
My video. How were you searching, or did somebody reach out to you, or?
Yeah, no, I think I found when I searched on YouTube for Create a Castle, I was looking to see if Sony Pictures dumped up on YouTube, and you showed up, and I'm like, "This is Joe Pardo," and I started watching, and I'm like, "Oh, this is actually pretty cool. I like this guy."
Oh, thank you.
So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
I commented on your teaser that you put out, and I'm like, "Hey, when do we get our shot?" So,
That's right. Because I went to a LAN party that week. Speaking of tech, I went to a LAN party that weekend with my daughter. It was her first time going to a big LAN party event, and so I could have shot it from there, but it just would have not been great. Because, once you make a video, it's forever, right? And it's like, I'm not going to go and remake a video that I already made, especially because it's the first time watching and the reaction and all that. And I didn't get back around to it. So I'm glad you did to remind me. And then I'm glad that we were able to connect and have you on here for an interview. And it's so great to see your journey. And it'll be great to see a couple of years from now where everything is continued to go.
Thank
definitely.
you.
Yeah,
thank you for having us.
Yeah,
we
thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
us on.
You're so welcome, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. We'll see you. If you haven't watched our pitch, click up here. If not, I'll see you in the video down below. Take care and go be super.